Now we, talk about the midterm census, which is meant to commence tomorrow, 10th December, and the World Bank on 7th December, as well, the press release was dated, actually said they have withdrawn funding and other technical support to Statistics Sierra Leone with regards the census. They cited some technical action points which were meant to be undertaken prior to the date which was put out for the commencement of counting as reasons for stopping the funding. Well, prior to that announcement, the Chief Minister, Jacob Jususafa, had stated that it's unfortunate that other political parties, including the All People's Congress, are calling for a boycott of the midterm census as the process is geared towards correcting the structural anomalies in the previous one. He spoke to our reporter, Bokari Matia, there when he went on a working visit to Statistics Sierra Leone. Let's take a look at the report.
Several political parties or consortium are also in on the process. But as you know, the main opposition is calling for a boycott. What do you have to say on the process itself and how inclusive it is? And are you confident that everyone is on board, even though you have the main opposition party withdrawing out or calling for a boycott?
It's regrettable. I expected them to be a mature political party. They did census 2015. They did their redistricting, they banned the delimitation. They still lost the election. We defeated them in the elections, even when they messed around the census. We're trying to correct their own wrongs. So if they decide to boycott or whatever, it's regrettable, but the fact remains the census has to go on.
That was the Chief Minister, Jacob Jususafa, on a working visit at Statistics Sierra Leone on the state of preparedness as the country goes into the midterm census. According to the minister, he is satisfied with the progress. Updating the minister, Statistician General Professor Usman Alimami Sanko stated that the previous census of 2015 had structural errors and anomalies that needn't be in use for the next 6 or 7 years.
These are structural errors, what you would call the anomalies in a census, which we should not live with for the next 5, 6 years. No country should. If you can solve it, solve that, we go forward. So I saw that there was no need to wait for another 7 years before a census before really correcting this. So, and now we also have the opportunity to use technology to solve this. So with that, again, I want to clarify, Mr. Chief Minister, if the problems we discovered were located in just one aspect, one area of the country, we would not have needed a census to do that.
Speaking on the method being used, Deputy Statistician General Andrew Bob Johnny stated that the method is technological in nature and there will be a situation room where real-time data will be received.
Go to the household. All information you get is going to be synced in real time. No sooner you collect information on an EA, enumeration area, this is automatically synced to the server. It's being received and also it will be showed on the dashboard. By the way, we are going to have like what we call a situation room. Yeah. Yes, where we sit in this room and monitor what is happening in the field in terms of indicators that are coming.
The Minister of Planning and Economic Development stated that the ministry is satisfied with the process and is ready to go.
But we are satisfied that they are ready to go. And I'm really very proud as a Sierra Leonean that we can actually be at this stage to really undertake a national assignment, which has been pronounced by His Excellency the President.
Bokari Matia, AYV News, Freetown.
All right, lots of unfoldings there regarding the midterm census, starting from the opposition parties stating their views or their stance when it comes to the census, and of course the most recent update there from the World Bank. But it's something worth talking about because, the World Bank was one of the major funders of the the midterm census. So their pulling out, might have some effects
on Statistics Sierra Leone. Well, on the line now we have the Director of Communications at Statistics Sierra Leone, Samuel Ansumana. Hello, Samuel. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, UIV.
All right. As of yesterday, we saw a press release from World Bank saying that they're pulling out of the midterm census due to certain things that they said were not right, and that the census is not yet due because Statistics Sierra Leone failed to meet some of the requirements. What impact has this had on the upcoming census, given taking into consideration that census night is tomorrow?
Census night is actually today.
Oh, okay. Well, today.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what impact has this World Bank withdrawing from the midterm census? What impact does it have on Statistics Sierra Leone?
Hello? For us at Statistics Sierra Leone, what basically we want to make very clear is that at this point, we are surprised to see this, that the World Bank is pulling out. And it's unfortunate because we had worked very closely with the bank, and there were no technical issues raised that were substantial. To that extent, we even had a situation where the bank was with us about a week ago or so from now, where we looked at how we can monitor the data quality on the field during the immigration. But when it comes to their pulling out, our ministry, whom the letter was addressed to, will be putting out a statement where we'll actually make known, our own side, we'll tell our own side of the story so people get to understand.
So are you saying the issues raised by World Bank were not to your notice prior to the letter being made public?
Well, what I would say is that we had sensed that this would be the situation. We had glimpses of it. And we were planning for it, so we went into preemptive planning. We involved the government of Sierra Leone so that they can be on standby to fund the census, and as a result of that, we are going ahead to do the census. However, we respect the World Bank. They've done so much for the census. In fact, the consultant that is working on the provision of the tablets, they just concluded provision of the tablets, was brought in by the World Bank. They funded almost every component of the census, and it's just for the main immigration that they feel like
the World Bank has raised several critical points for which you have not met the requirements. For instance, these include the evaluation of the pilot census, the field operation plan for the enumeration, and they also have stated that you have not ensured that the enumerators are adequately trained. And they've said that there's not enough time between the dates the letter was put out and the commencement date for those anomalies to be corrected. Were you not aware of these issues prior to the letter being made public?
We were aware of these issues and we responded to them adequately. When it comes to the census report, the evaluation of the pilot census, in fact, the very first partner that we sent the pilot census report to after we concluded it was the World Bank. And they got back to us telling us that they were 99% sure that we had the coding right. The coding was 99% right. They sent that to us telling us that for the first time the code is 90% right. In fact, if you could remember, the issues that even the World Bank raised in their letter that we had with the 2015 census was as a result of the coding errors that were there. And they were telling us now that the coding was 99% right for the pilot going into the main census immigration. So we actually gave them the platform to evaluate, the coding, the pilot census. Let's come to the field operations plan. We also gave them that. We gave them, a step-by-step or a detailed plan as to how we'll be doing the deployment of the staff and what will happen logistically and every other thing that has got to do with the census. And also with the training, we developed the manual, the training manual, together with the World Bank. They vetted the training manual. We looked at the modules together, all right? And before we even started training, they were aware and they gave us their blessings to go ahead with the training, okay? But we do not want to comment on the issues. We had
But these are the issues. You cannot say you do not
felt
want to comment on them, Samuel. Unfortunately, you do have to comment on them. And if the World Bank has stated that these are the issues, are they right to say Statistics Sierra Leone is not adequately prepared for the census?
I do not agree with that we are not adequately prepared for the census. Because if we are not adequately prepared, the World Bank would have paid for a consultant on the 12th of November to come and undertake provisioning of tablets. The consultant is there as I speak. If we are not adequately prepared, we wouldn't have had the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, which is the body that is responsible for censuses in Africa, sending in 2 consultants last night. The guys just getting last night they are here in Sierra Leone, and we are about to do the conduct of the midterm census, you know. So we have a British lady and we have an Ethiopian who is a technical person that will be working with us on the census. We have other partners that are working on this census. Let us also underscore that. Aside the World Bank, we value the World Bank's contribution, and they are the primary funders, but we also have UNICEF, we have UNFPA, we have UNECA, United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, which is the body that is responsible for censuses in Africa. We have the Office of National Statistics in UK that is providing technical support for us. We have the Mano River Union.
Can I just hold you there? As much as you have a lot of funding and support, technical support coming in to conduct the census, need I remind you that most of the projects which are meant to be implemented using the census data might come and fall under the World Bank projects as well. So if they at this point in time have washed their hands off the conduct of the census, then how do we hope to implement these development projects under whose name you are reconducting a census?
So what international partners do is to validate to validate and ensure that censuses reach international benchmarks. That is what partners do. That is what the World Bank does. That is what UNICEF does. That is what UNFPA does. That is what UNECA does. So it's not just one partner that would validate or invalidate a census, okay? It is a conglomeration of partners that would say, okay, this is not credible. You can feel like it is not credible. If other partners feel they were part and parcel of the process and it's credible for them, it is credible. So that is really for the government to answer when it comes to the projects that will be Sierra Leonean projects and will be funded by the World Bank. It is for the government to answer. It is not for me to answer, all right? But what we know is we are technically prepared. In fact, the World Bank themselves put out a notice some time ago, not too long ago, that we were technically ready to conduct the midterm census, okay? So we know the issues. I don't want to really, as I've said earlier, I don't want to really delve into the details, the nitty-gritties. We have the Ministry of Planning, whom the letter was addressed to, and also the Ministry of Finance, rather, and the Ministry of Planning, who we are only copied in that letter. All right, the Ministry of Planning and the Ministry of Finance together will put out a statement where we'll make our position known. We'll tell our own story so people get to know exactly what happened along the line. All right, and that has led us to where we are now. But the bottom line, if I am to say, is that the World Bank wants us to conduct the census in December. However, December has been the traditional month for all censuses that have been conducted in Sierra Leone. From 1985, 2004, 2016, December is the traditional month, and we wanted to stick with December. They thought otherwise. They didn't want us to do it in December, So, but when we come out with a statement, we will actually catalog all of these issues so people get to understand where we actually had a disagreement.
Okay, Samuel, as we round up, so you're trying to say, amidst all the anomalies that the World Bank has stated, Statistics Sierra Leone is still ready and set to go ahead with the census?
Well, I won't say they stated anomalies. They made their position on things they thought, were not correct. And we know we've actually, these are technical areas or technical issues we have responded to. But let me put it into perspective. We are going ahead with the census today. As I told you, we had insight into this. We knew we had red flags that such a thing would happen, and we had put the government of Sierra Leone on red alert. So the census is going ahead as planned. Today is census night. People should be mindful of where they sleep on the census night, because that is where they'll be counted. And we want people to participate in the process, because it's part of their civic responsibility, it's part of their civic right, and they'll be counted where they slept. So be counted for better planning. Today is census night. The census is going ahead as planned. We've trained our enumerators. They are in the field. We're doing deployment as we speak, and we know that we'll come out with credible results for this census.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us in the program, Samuel. Well, that's Samuel Ansumana, Director of Communications at Statistics Sierra Leone, and he was giving us updates on the upcoming census, and that will start tomorrow. Well, he actually said tonight is the census night, and he said that amidst all the whatever World Bank has stated in the press release, that they are good to go.